Yeah, who was the original and first Jethro Tull?
My original, your original. Well, I take no notice of him at all. I mean, I didn't do very much history at school. But it transpires, in case you're interested, that the original Jethro Tull was a 19th century English agriculturalist who invented a seed drill. You see, the first automatic process whereby small holes were made in Mother Earth and even smaller seeds were deposited one at a time and neatly covered over as a cat does after having been naughty.
And to get together Jethro Tull as it is now, what sort of process went into that?
Well, it involved the long move down to London, you know, which was a bit nerve-wracking because none of us had really lived away from home or had to actually support ourselves full-time as musicians. And when we did go professional, in that sense, it was, you know, total commitment. And all that any of us wanted to do was simply make a living of a, you know, a very reasonable sort. But that proved impossible. The group actually split up a week after it left its native Blackpool and went to London. And I was the only one who stayed down there. I think I had a potato more than everybody else or something. Or was it some biscuits I had? I know I had some means of survival anyway, over and above the others. I had come better prepared. And it was in my knotted handkerchief, you see, on the stick. And so I stayed down and met up with 3 other guys, and we decided to form a new group, which eventually became Jethro Tull, after a couple of months of starving and playing about 3 gigs, and me having to take a part-time job working in Luton Ritz Cinema, vacuum cleaning the floor.
Yeah, do you see Jethro Tull being around for a long time to come?
Yeah, I think it probably will be. We're all too used to travelling, playing concerts, making records. I mean, everything follows a kind of yearly cycle of tours, records, rehearsals, whatever. And to break away from that would be breaking what has become something of a psychological addiction. I think one equates, after a little while, the act of physically moving, you know, from town to town, country to country, with, you know, the natural progression of one's life, really.
Yeah, well, as far as your next album is concerned, what sort of, is it going to be a concept album or a theme album?
Yes, it is a theme album. And of course, eagle-eyed viewers will notice the continuity problem of the cigarette that's burnt down more than it should have done since the last cut. Sorry, a concept album, yes, of course. Well, it's like 10 songs again, which, if I might explain that, we have a problem of having now an awful lot of material, which we assume audiences would like to hear, you know, a broad cross-section of. And which is very difficult for us, tinkle tinkle. It's very difficult for us now because there just aren't enough hours. I mean, 2 hours is a maximum to play on stage without everybody's ears and senses becoming numb, you know, everyone, us and the audience and the stage managers and the mixing people, whatever. It's just too much after 2 hours. So we're stuck with a 2-hour maximum, and we have this problem of chopping up the longer pieces of music we've done, which is unfortunate and not really satisfactory from our point of view, to take bits out of context. They don't feel right anymore to do that. I mean, we've done that with some degree of success with Thick as a Brick and Passion Play, as far as playing this tour is concerned. But I would hate to have to go on doing that in years to come if every album, excuse me, we made was a long, you know, continuous piece of music. It would become disorientating for us, I think, to have to work that way. So I think, at least for the next couple of records, we're going to go back to the single song, you know, the 3 or 4 minute song format, because it allows us a lot more fluidity in assembling this cross-section of music, which we enjoy playing. And I assume, you know, from being in some degree aware of what the audience wants, it's what they want too.
Which leaves us still with... oh, right.
Yeah, well, I mean, yes, I did be sorry to say about the concept, yes. It's 10 songs. They all have... I mean, they're all dealing with the same sort of idea, discussing the idea of the built-in aggression, the competitive spirit, this little thing that lurks within us all, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. You know, it motivates us in a lot of areas, and so long as it's understood, it can be used rather than abused, I think, for the good. It's obviously a potential danger, but I mean, what do I say in one of the songs? In the heart of your hearts there's the tiniest part of an urge to live to the death, which just about sums it up. You know, it's this survival thing at the cost of all else, you know. As animals we're rather bad, but, you know, we bungle along in the jungle of human life. Thereby lies the title of another song, Bungle in the Jungle, which is really rather exciting. I sort of enjoy it in a way, you know, but then I'm set to be one of the survivors, and obviously I feel bad sometimes about being a survivor, seeing other people sort of dropping out or not making it or ending up, you know, on Skid Row or its equivalent, you know, whatever level of society they're in. You know, there are many levels of Skid Row, if you know what I mean, which isn't the title of the song on the album.
On stage, you've got quite remarkable movements yourself, hand actions. Have you ever been a student or a watcher of Douglas Fairbanks Jr. or Errol Flynn or
No, I
any of his
haven't.
gay swashbuckling?
I know who you mean. Yeah, I mean that's really great. Yeah, I never. Well, I mean, when I was a kid, I can remember seeing some things like that, you know. But no.
Do you see yourself as a gay cavalier or
what
a swashbuckling hero of the sort of rock and roll electric generation?
No, I mean, I don't see myself as anything at all. I have absolutely no, you know, plan of action when I come on stage any night. Something happens, you know, which obviously represents a part of my personality or whatever, you know, but it's not planned, and I don't have any illusions about continuing that character role or whatever it might appear as being into a day-to-day existence. I mean, it just wouldn't work.
In other words, you're sane.
Well, yeah, I mean, in other words, I would just fall over myself laughing at everything I did and everything I said if I was to be like that all the time. Obviously, seeing oneself in a humorous light, or the ability to send up the whole group thing is very important to us. We have to retain that way of looking at it all. Otherwise, if we took it seriously, Christ, we'd be unbearable. I mean, we really would.
Well, just one last final question. Rock concerts and rock music do seem to be, to a certain extent, taking a direction towards music theatre rather than a band standing up on stage and playing music with not much sort of animation or accompaniment to it. Could you see Tull eventually becoming more and more of a musical, theatrical troupe?
No, I don't really think so. I mean, no way. I mean, there's a very grave danger of anything other than music actually intruding upon the music, and my firm belief in the necessity of punctuation marks is one thing, but extending that to an attempt to be almost a musical theatre group is way beyond the bounds of my capabilities. I mean, I'm just not a professional enough person. I'm not an actor. I could never perform in that sense every night. I'm much too unreliable and irresponsible in that sense. I mean, one night I might not use a gun, I might jump on it and strangle it, and if that didn't work in the context, then it would be the wrong thing to do. But I might do it anyway, just because I feel like it, So, no, it wouldn't happen that way.
Right, thank you very much.
Thank you.